Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final of the July SimHound Amateur Series here at oNiD. Tonight we are coming from the wonderful British track of Donington, a nice narrow, twisty track. Is sure to test all these AMs out tonight. And so you've got a slight change in commentators for tonight. You've got some holidays and screaming babies and things. So that's what we are here to commentate with. And it is going to be myself, Stephen Bain, and Trinket, who is here tonight. Say hello, Trinket.
Hello. I like how when you said tight, you went twite.
I noticed that as well, but I was going to just play it off and hope no one noticed. But clearly I didn't get away with that.
I heard the stutter as your brain realized what you said.
Yeah, I also tried to call us the Screaming Babies, but I messed that up as well. So the comms is off to a good start.
Excellent start. We also have not done any of the comms for the previous rounds of this championship, so we're just kind of thrown in at the finale, so interesting. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been sitting in the background for the rest of the rounds, or for most of them, in the steward's box, but I've left that in the capable hands of some of the other stewards, and I'm sure they're going to have a busy night tonight, given how tight Donington is, or twite.
As we see the drivers come out after their driver's briefing for the last 5 minutes of free practice before we go into qualifying. Do you know the format completely? Because I know there's the short race and then the longer race. I think it's 45 minutes.
Yeah, so we're going to have an 8-minute race first, which is almost like a practice race. Is just to let the drivers get a rough feeling of where they're going to start from. Something that we found in previous series is that when the races start, obviously it's the most easiest time to have a crash because everyone's bunched together. And being an amateur series, you're coming to your practice. What's the point in trying to practice if you get taken out right at the start? So thought we'd give them a little bit of race start practice. The only way you can do that is to actually have a race. So that's why the 8-minute race was brought in. So they're going to do that. And then it's going to be a 45-minute race following that. And included in that, there's going to be a pit stop, which is for tyres and fuel, which they will have to do in both races, even the short 8-minute one.
Is the pit window still the entire length of the short race as well? Because I remember that from last season.
Yes, it is 2,700 seconds, which roughly or exactly equates to 45 minutes. So, although it'll come up saying there's a pit window, in reality there's not actually a pit window, it's just the whole race.
Roger that. Just refreshing my memory because it's been a month, but also just to inform the chat as well if they didn't know, so win-win.
Yeah, good. And talking to chat, let's see, we have Sam Page saying evening, Darren Eaton as well, evening all. Sam Page actually is in contention for the beginners standings overall, so we'll update a little bit on that later on. We also have oNiD Racing here, Johnny, on his holidays, but can't stay away.
Ah, no, that's me.
He's Oh, that's you?
Yeah, it's because... yeah. Well, oNiD Racing could be any of us, but I'm just typed in the chat. Oh, dear.
Why is Johnny not here? This begs the question then. Even though he's on holiday, he should still be here watching. We've also got James Wood saying good luck to all. He's also racing tonight. Alice Parkin, General Scrub as well. It's been a while since he has heard my voice. I'm still not quite understanding that name, and I don't know where it came from. But
complete mystery to me as well.
Yeah, it's a confusing one, but I'll take it. I've been called worse.
Just officially anyone with a Scottish accent is now the voice of God.
Maybe it's just because they don't understand me. But yes, so we have a couple of minutes of free practice, and then these drivers will be going into qualifying. It's a 15-minute qualifying session, so not too long. but it is a shortish track, so they'll be able to get a decent number of laps in. Still. Got a few quick drivers out already. 1:27.3 is the quickest time in practice by Zabowski.
Just watching Darren Eaton cross the line. He was about 2 seconds up on his lap there, I think. Oh no, he was 2 seconds down, but he improved a second, so he moves himself up to 9th for practice. Getting his grips right at the end of practice there.
Yeah, Darren Eaton drivers come on quite a lot since they joined. They've been in the AMS quite a while, racing, starting from being reasonably low down and coming up through the ranks. They've also been doing the other oNiD championships, which will help as well. But looks like they may be one of the drivers that gets promoted out of the amateur league following this race. So we do try and keep the level of competitor down low in these. It gives everyone a chance, and it means that it's restricting races from the super fast aliens like Trinket from joining in and basically winning everything. So from next month, the August rounds, we're imposing a limit of 6,500 SGP rank, and if you're above that, you're not going to be able to enter. If you're below that, then you can enter, and you will be able to enter the whole round even if you go up, because that's what the amateur series is for. It's for improving your rank. It's for learning how to go faster. So we're not going to penalise anyone if you started and say they managed to get up before the last race, they get above it, then they should still be able to finish off the championship. As we see Josh Wish taking a interesting line, and we get a good look through the back of that Ferrari. You wouldn't want to reverse park that, would you, with that window?
Got very nice up and close there. But it's funny you mentioned the SGP ranking, because I've had a few poor races, let's say, and I was also not feeling well for one day. So my SGP ranking is about high 6,000s right now. If that goes lower, I might just sneak myself into the AMS. I wouldn't do that now.
We can still overrule, and we will overrule. But yeah, it's been good. A couple little changes. Hopefully that'll make our job a little bit easier, and it means that we don't get some of the outliers, which maybe haven't
very sudden that one.
Haven't raced with us at oNiD, but have raced on SGP. Then they won't be able to join if they're too quick. It keeps it all good. But we have got the start of qualifying, and Sam Page first out on track, trying to get a good position to withhold his championship lead.
Not split qualifying, it would look like then, everyone out.
Yeah, it will be. It's a bit too short a qualifying session to split it, and with there only being 22 drivers, I think they'll manage to get room.
Yes. Also popping back in check to say hello to the rest of the people. So we've got Win No Comment, Net Raxer, I'm Royale with Peas, or LM, not quite sure on that one. Ben Royal, Leighton Austin, and that's everyone new. Hello, how are you doing? Also talking about Daz being a legend in that Porsche. Persevering. First time driving the Porsche on Tuesday. It was not bad. I didn't have a great time because I don't do well at Zandvoort, but yeah, it was a good car. Let's see how I do in Imola next week.
Yeah, it's I did one of the track guides in it. I think it was Barcelona, and I found it really difficult, and then changed some things in the setup, and I actually found it a lot better. So I think maybe a few tweaks to the default setups, and it's a lot stabler a car than it used to be.
You also drove the 296 around Laguna for one of the AMS track guides, and that's of course my main car. I drive it all the time. It's wonderful. I love it. And you did not enjoy it.
Yeah, we don't speak about that.
I guess we also don't speak about you saying go up onto the tarmac when everything's tarmac.
We won't count how many laps it took me to do that track guide. There was a few, let's just say.
Yeah.
By a few, I think I must have spent about an hour trying to get a good lap.
And
What I
good words
tend
at
to
the
do
same time.
is, yeah, what I tend to do is rather than setting a good lap and then doing a voiceover, I try and do the voiceover as I'm driving. It's not very easy, especially when a lot of the AMs are quite quick and you want to set a time for the track guide that's quicker than them. So it's yeah, a little bit tough. But
With some of these AMs, they're still new and learning, but sometimes they are rapid.
definitely, I mean, we've seen Adam and Johnny drop in, and even they're able to kind of have to fight to get up near the front of the AMS series, and that's again, it's what we're kind of hoping to do with the ranking to bring it back down a little bit further. But in the same breath, we don't want to exclude everyone from it, because then we don't want to have races with 5 cars, for example.
Yeah.
Because
But
then,
of course, speed does not equal experience, and experience does not equal speed. And this is all about experience and learning.
exactly, it's not just about the speed, as you say. There's a lot to do with how to overtake, how to defend,
How to pit stop.
how to pit stop, even just how to get around a track for 45 minutes rather than just doing hot laps. Because it's a lot harder to keep your conversation. It's a lot harder to keep your concentration for that long.
Yeah, I remember, because I do a lot of racing over the years through my life, but anything long that I used to do was probably just Gran Turismo endurance events where I could just pause at any time and go to the bathroom or whatever. But online races, because it's all random lobbies and such, they're usually only 10-15 minutes. So coming to oNiD and doing long form races for the first time was definitely a new experience. And the 2.4 hour Jimmy race from about a year and a half ago was the first endurance race I've technically done. That felt long to me.
And then you got the Gran Turismo 5 endurance races that you could pause and save, and they would take you like a full week to do.
Yeah, you could save mid race and leave and come back. And then of course you can just B-spec it.
I booted up that game about a year ago and realised that when I stopped playing it in what would have been, I don't know, 2009, to be right in saying about then? A long time ago. I was
wasn't out in
halfway through an
2009.
endurance race. 2013? I don't know.
That would seem alright, yeah.
A good few years ago, I realised that I'd just stopped playing it in the middle of an endurance race and never went back to it.
I think we've all been there.
But I've also just noticed in the chat, Ben Royal saying, Stevie, can we talk about Monday? No, nothing happened on Monday.
What happened on Monday? What was Monday?
Nothing. It was the first round of the new RS Championship, the Racing Stronger Championship.
Ah, yes.
And it was at Valencia. And
yes, I was there. I remember.
I didn't race at that one. No one remembers me racing at that one.
Yes, I definitely don't remember being in the voice chat with you and getting... Oh, it's suddenly left my mind. What happened?
Nothing. No drive-thrus. No nothing. No stop go 30.
Got a little bit distracted and stuck on Sam Page for a while there. Having a good old conversation.
But yeah, I may have got, over the course of 2 races, I may have had 5 drive-thrus, 1 stop go 30, and finished on 3 track warnings.
Yeah, it's all coming. It's all coming back.
It went. Let's just say it didn't go very good.
About as good as we expected.
Well, that is true. Anyway, shall we jump back to how qualifying is going? So we currently have Matthias Sapolsky with the fastest lap currently at 1:27.69. A little bit slower than what they did in qualifying, but Still a good lap nonetheless. We have Head in second on a 1:28.0, and then Seth Royal with a 1:28.2 in third. But there is a lot of improvements. Angel Sohn at the minute in 10th place, but currently looking close to being able to take pole. They're going to be crossing the line any minute, and goes at second, just 0.2 down.
Just lost that time going around the last corner there. Delta was showing about 1.5 seconds there, and it just started bleeding as they went wide on that last corner. That's very unfortunate, but I'm sure they might be able to do it again.
Yeah, Seth Royal as well, another one up on his lap currently, but it's all about connecting the corners. It's an easy track to get one corner wrong in a lap. You've got the old hairpin, turn 4, I think it is. Really easy to run wide on the grass. You've got Coppice, which is the corner that runs up the hill. So easy to run wide and always seems to have less grip than the rest of the track there too. And then the chicane at the end of the lap going on to the Grand Prix loop, you can so easily invalidate that lap. Cutting that a little bit too much.
Speaking of Sohn, he's... Oh, okay. I was about to say Sohn was currently 2-3 tenths up on that lap, and that would have thrown him right in the lead, but they just came a cropper onto someone there. Very unfortunate, but that's how it
just
goes.
catching up to the back of Tony Fensom, who is currently sitting in 5th. But we do have a rule in oNiD that during qualifying, you're not to race anyone else. So if you do catch up to a slower car when you're on a good lap, then so be it. You have to back out and go again.
Definitely shows that they had the pace to get that lap, so they just need to get some space, and they should be able to pull this off.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, going back to it, also the hairpins, they're really easy to miss your braking point and run deep and lose a 1/10, 2/10. Crossing the line, Taylor Verdania. Moving up a couple spaces, with a 1:28.7.
Well,
a lot of drivers struggling to get their laps. Yeah.
Delta's bouncing around 3.5 to 4 tenths, just dropping down a little bit more. If they nail this right last corner, that will put them right up. Either way, that's going to put them up 2nd place.
Got the apex,
just lost a little bit of time there. That puts them up to 3rd place, just behind Sohn by 100th second.
Yeah, 100th of a second. So really tight up the top.
But
interestingly, not any fastest sectors. I don't know who's got the fastest 3rd sector.
That's the thing about ACC race control, is the 3rd sector is the same as the 1st sector, and it for some reason doesn't display the 3rd sector. So I never know, but I do know that Zapolsky has the fastest 1st sector and Sohn has the fastest 2nd.
Yeah, it looks like Sapolsky has the fastest 3rd sector as well. Oh no,
Sohn currently up 4 tenths now. Because he didn't get that last corner so right, being 4 tenths up here and nailing this last corner is going to shoot his time up. Yep, already up to about 6 tenths now. Look at that, 0.365 up. That's a mega lap from Sohn.
Yeah, really solid lap time.
Just been told.
Equaling Sapolsky in practice.
Just got told that Sam Page is on a storming lap, and I see 8 tenths down, so I'm not sure about that one, Alex Parkin.
Maybe he was on a storming lap and...
I just missed the unfortunateness.
Yeah.
Sapolsky currently improving now.
So we speak about no, we'll save the championship standards to in between qualifying and the race, shall we? Let's hold that. Let's hold that thought. Wood was on a good lap, but it looks like they lost a little bit in the last corner. They've went from 18th up to 15th. Could have jumped up a couple more places maybe if they'd got it as good as they did in the last time they went round, but still not too bad. A couple who are up a 10th or 2 in the top 6. But yeah,
Second and third are currently about 1 to 2 tenths up on their lap. Might be enough to shuffle positions, but Sohn with that mega lap, and I'm not sure if anyone's going to beat that. Sapolsky still has the fastest first sector, though.
Wow. Sapolsky just nailed that hairpin there.
Oh, yeah, 4
and
tenths.
4
wow.
tenths out. So, depends how they get round it. McLaren staying out the way nicely.
I think they just backed off a little bit there, but not too much. It's going to bring them closer, but they did lose a bit of that time there. But even if they keep 0 on their lap time through this lap, even just a little bit down, if they get that last corner right without any traffic, it's going to shoot up about 2 tenths.
Yeah. Ben Royal in the chat saying that Seth, who is his son, has went faster than Ben has ever at this track.
I remember I looked at my phone because I wanted to see what my fastest lap here was. Because I'm always curious. Last time I drove here was in a GT4, and I don't think I've driven here in 1.9 yet, but always interesting to see. As someone who's definitely not an AM, but also not always the fastest.
The trinket luck.
I don't even
Some
bring that
days
up.
may be good, some days may be...
Some days maybe good, some days are maybe shit. So yes, my fastest lap here was in nearly an entire year ago, and I think this was the race that I won, my first ACC win, and that was a 1:28.1, so that would have been 1.8 in the Aston Martin.
Oh, nice. My first ever amateurs race was here.
So that would put me
Actually.
5th in this standing right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, you can see 5th is 1 second down.
Yeah.
Now as Bosky comes into the pit, so that's his chances of getting first out, and Royal is also down by about 1/10.5. So I think that's going to be our top 5 almost set. Royal's just gone up a little bit, but lost it again.
Royal
Into the
still get
pits,
another
yeah.
lap in. Oh no, he won't because he's in the pits.
Yeah.
So obviously I
Possibly
didn't
out
have
of
enough
fuel there.
Yeah. What other movers have we got? We have not got many on a... James Russell's just had a good last turn, although is going to jump up 1 place.
Yes,
Does
he
jump up 1
does.
place to 11th. Gettings, another one who is about a 10th up.
Wick's also 2... But I keep wanting to say 2 point, but it's not. It's 2800s. Numbers. Yes, Royal in chat saying he ran out of fuel as Wix just catches it on the grass and spins around there.
It's a tough corner, that old hairpin. You run a little bit wide, you dip 2 wheels onto the grass, and because you're so heavily loaded on the outside tyres, it's so easy to spin off into the inside.
Gettings
So
did improve, but did not move position. Mason currently about 1 second up. It's fluctuating a lot right now.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, most of the other, there's Mark Over. They are pretty much on par with their lap time, so it could be a good last 2 hairpins.
Just invalidated there.
Bit. Oh, so the only one we've really got on a lap is Over. He is going to cross the line and jumps up a lot. Jumps up about 5 places now.
Yeah, that was very good from them. It is quite tight from the midfield there, I would say. Got the really fast ones, and then they're all about 1 second, but that's a good 10 places, all within about half a second-ish. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And Hansen last across the line, but isn't improving. Will stay 19th.
That was a great qualifying.
It was a good qualifying. So Angel Sohn did take the pole position at 1:27.3. With Sapolsky not too far behind, about 1/10.5 behind, and then there is a bit of a gap back to Seth Royal. So the two getting the quick laps in. Obviously, race pace totally different, as we saw with a lot of the times in qualifying, fluctuating up and down. That translates to race pace. There isn't really any drivers in this who are going to be nailing their best lap every single lap. It is going to be up and down. So we could see drivers move forward. I know Dexter Morgan has been pretty quick, and I think has had a couple wins already. And yeah, we've got a few other drivers who should move up. But also noticing that Darren Eaton and Kraus finished on exactly the same time as well. They both did 1:28.597.
That they did. Look at that. Very impressive. Also can now see the sector 3 times, and yeah, Son blitzed that sector 3 time nearly 3/10 faster in that sector alone.
Also interesting is I don't think I've ever seen this before, but we saw. So I said Darren Eaton and Krauser were on the same lap time, but Conradi and Crook are also on the same lap time as each other.
Well, yeah, 1:29.98.
So it's up to whoever got the lap time first is who starts ahead. As they are now sat on the grid. A little bit of a gap to go, and we've got a full formation lap as well to let the drivers warm up the tyres, and it's going to be the start of the 8-minute race. We've got air temperature of 25 degrees, track temperature of 32 degrees, so it is warm, not ridiculously hot, but it's definitely a hot summer's day at Donington. And we have no chance of rain. Which would be lovely to say at the moment in real life, but it's been a little bit wet recently.
It's been a bit wet where I am, yeah.
Yeah, up here too. It seems to be it's really sunny and wet every day.
We've had that a few days, but today, no rain, but the temperature was pretty cool. Looked outside, it was cloudy and grey, and I walked outside and just got hit with heat, and I was not expecting that. So it's definitely still summer. And I am stuck on this screen, so I guess you can just look at this then.
Yeah, got another 50 seconds of this screen, and then we'll get a nicer one on.
Yeah, I was looking at the
in the
timetables, and now I'm stuck here.
In the chat, Seth Royal said he did run out of fuel, so he didn't get that last lap in. It's unfortunate. Dexter Morgan says he doesn't reckon he's going to be up this week. He's sprained his foot. I think also Mark Over has some sort of injury, so I don't know what they've been doing to both have injuries. So I'm sure hopefully they'll make it through the race without too much pain. And Sam Page saying we want rain. Sorry, Sam. Unlucky.
I want rain.
It's meant to be rain at Imola next week in the Monday race, so I'll get even more drive-throughs.
Oh, that's gonna be a lot of fun. And I can finally click drive.
So, this first race, it also doesn't count towards the championship. It is just solely a practice race for everyone. So the points are voided after this. And we shall see how they get on. Who's your pick, would you say?
I think I'm going to go with the safe bet and say Son. He seems to be handily nailing this track, but anything could happen. But
yeah, I think I'm going to go Seth. So I think Seth will get through. He's been reasonably consistent, I would have said as well. A couple incidents here and there. But yeah, he's been pretty good. And since it's the final as well, give a shout out to Win No Comment. So he was in the amateur series. He'd done quite a few races, got pretty good, and then asked, can I help out? I want to still do a little bit towards helping with Yams. So he's been involved in this series, has been doing some of the stewarding, and did the driver's briefing tonight as well. Kind of taking over from myself, which is normally who would do it on a Thursday. And yeah, good to see him putting it in, putting in the kind of remember to take it easy, and saying to remember to take the pit stop in this race and to compensate on fuel for a full formation lap. So it's maybe all the things that he'd learnt and maybe missed out in the first few races that he did. he's now letting other people know. So it's, yeah, just want to say thank you for helping out in the series and everyone else.
You teach them well, and they teach well.
Hopefully he doesn't teach them too much of how to drive the Porsche, though, because we've seen what happens with that.
Well, that's a worrying comment.
What comment? Oh, the driving the Porsche. It's usually backwards.
You also mentioned that Johnny Seville helped out last night.
He did, yeah. So Johnny's recently signed for LFM Racing. I know that's probably not the title of the race team, but Low Fuel Motorsports esports team. He's signed for them, but he was in chat last week with Adam. Was yourself in it as well, or was it Adam and Johnny last week?
It's just Adam and Johnny. I haven't done one for a little while.
It was Adam and Johnny, and he offered to come and help out. So he was in the practice server last night, helping out a few of these guys, and probably why we're seeing such quick lap times. Along with Win as well. So Win was helping too last night, which was really good. And, but we are coming round to the start of this race. Son leading the field round, and we are about to go green. And it's go, go, go.
Oh, just got 4 drive-throughs for out of position. That is not what you want to see.
Definitely not. So
Ooh,
coming
just
into turn 1, there's already been a collision. And that everyone's gonna react to it. There's cars off, but it looks like everyone's kind of got through all right. But there's more going down the Grainer curves in the background that I saw. And that's another car going off
there as well.
There's a spinner, the McLaren spun and being collected. And everyone's trying to avoid as best as they can. And yeah, this is why we have the practice race. It's to let the drivers kind of figure out what they can and can't do. Hopefully they'll realise, okay, I did chop across the front a little bit too much. I'll need to give a bit more room there, or going down along side by side down the Craner curves is tough. You've got to really know where the track goes to get it right, give each other room. So
it's very good to learn what you can do and what you absolutely should not do. And as I say that, there's a big one back here as well.
Yeah,
just gonna get
one.
Just gonna get on board of that one. I'm not sure what happened there. 3 cars
I think
into one,
was,
exactly that. Yep.
Well, 4 wasn't
almost
it?
4. Yeah.
It was 3 into 1, and then one of the 3 tried to avoid the slow 4, and obviously just not realising cars were alongside each other. As we've seen some drivers going in the pits to take their drive-throughs, but drive-throughs at the start. So ACC, when you're lining up, it gives you a little green box, and you've got to be within this green box, which lets you kind of know that you're starting in the right place. It stops you jumping forward positions. If you're out with that, or if you're speeding down to the line, you will get a drive-through. So those 4 drivers have obviously done that, and now having to take the drive-through for it. As we see in James Wood off in the grass. I think that's at Coppice. No, it's not. It's the exit of turn 1.
Yeah. Because just going past Old Bridge here. Not too familiar with the corner names on this track. I just know that's an Old Bridge.
I know, yeah. I know the Old Hairpin, and I know Coppice, and that's about it. That's Eaton on the inside of, I think that was Mason, and completely misses the
It's got quite a battered Porsche. Some of the others drivers that were involved in some of those accidents are in the pits taking their early stop.
Sam Page going around the outside. Is he going to hold it? He's still there. As Krauser on the in the black and gold Ferrari is now on the inside, but raced a little bit early, doesn't want to send it in, and is back in formation as both him and Darren Eaton dive into the pits. So Sapolsky has taken the lead. Oh, well
Ferrell getting a
held.
stop go 30 for speeding in pit lane, and they did not complete their pit stop correctly.
It could have been for the drive-through. I can't remember which drivers had the drive-through at the start.
I saw stop go 30 for speeding in pit lane as we just watched Liam Mason get on the grass there. I was watching in practice before we started streaming and saw quite a few cars go that exact line. There was almost a driving line going that way. It's quite a difficult corner to get that one. Seen a lot of people go off there. Not just this race as well.
Yeah, I've done it plenty of times, and it's also a really easy place to get track limits. Basically, if you run wide, you're either having a crash or getting a track limit warning.
Or both, if you're me.
Yeah, you can be really unlucky. You get the track limit warning, then you crash.
Oh, I've crashed and then got a track limit warning as I came back onto track because I drifted so far off.
Oh,
but like I've nowhere else to rejoin except right in front of me.
Oh dear. Just jumping in the
Zabolski
chat,
and Sohn into the pits as well. As we watch these two jump into the pits, Knight and Conrady. The names also got Dexter Morgan in the lead at the moment. Of course, not pitted yet, but also has the fastest lap.
Yeah, 1:27.6, which is only 3/10 off the pole time. That was on the last lap, so although he said, "Oh, I'm not going to be winning this race," he's doing a good effort at it, isn't he?
Doing a great job.
Jumping in the chat, we've also got Skunk Eye here saying, "I should be racing tonight. Got a damn able to make it. But thanks for coming along anyway and spectating. Hopefully you'll be back next week for the special, which we can chat about as well in a minute." No comment says I'm not backwards that often, by the way. I don't know, I've seen you race. And Jacob Grassmeader as well, he started in the amateur series. He was also in the AMS practice yesterday with Yannick too, so a few of them do like to jump in and see if they can offer up some help. So
as we witnessed the scary pit exit on this track firsthand right there as well. Seeing Gettings coming down the straight as Conrady comes out behind them, and then you just see Gettings pretty much just pull away in fear, which is reasonable.
Yeah, it's you really want to cut into the exit of the pit lane on the racing line, or for the racing line, but it's the same, like, Paul Ricard's really bad for it too, where all of a sudden there's a car appears just where you're about to go.
Yeah, often with Paul Ricard, I just stay off the track on the outside if there's people coming. Completely off the track, but hey, there's nothing there slowing me down.
As long as you don't take out the brake markers, because if you do, you're the worst type of human.
Usually they're gone by the time I get to that point. Running into the last minute now as well. So we see Morgan and Torn making their pit stops. Yep, Sohn has taken the lead back. Quite a way. Yeah. There's Morgan in the background there. 3.9 seconds it is.
Yeah, it looks like Morgan's jumped up into second though.
He has.
Sapolsky has dropped to third, so not sure if they had a bit of damage in the pit stop or just a slow pit stop. As we're seeing, Josh Wick's taking a bit of a alternative route through turn 1.
He just got wide on that grass. Just like I can't remember the corner name, but the one we see quite a few times.
The old hairpin here.
Yes, it's the same thing. It's quite a deceiving corner, the first one, because it's a lot longer and narrower than you think it is.
I also think it tightens up after the apex. So you come into the corner and you think you've got the right speed, and then all of a sudden you're having to slow up even more. It's awkwardly slow, I find. As we're away to watch a replay, I think these two just coming together, and
just
a little touch, both of them into spin, or not a spin. The red and blue Ferrari was sent sideways, but
so you come across the lead for the win as well during that too.
Yeah, as Morgan takes second and Sapolsky takes third, so going to be an interesting race. Seth Royal, not a great practice race for them, down in 12th, obviously starting third. But Tyler taking 4th place in the McLaren, with Gettings is going to cross the line as well into 5th.
M. Ferrell as well did not take their pit stop, so they're about to get a 130 seconds penalty. We'll see how far that puts them down as well.
I think that's going to drop them probably firmly to second last. Looking at the leaderboard, it's all quite close still. Hansen still in the pits, which they had picked up a little bit too much damage. But yeah, good practice. There will be a couple bits in chat, I'm sure, to just say, look, take it easy, give each other space, use your radar, which is very handy in this that you wouldn't get in real life. And the next race start hopefully will be a little bit cleaner, but if not, the stewards are going to have a little bit of work on their hands.
Especially if this is your first time racing in on this track, having that practice start is very useful, because you can do many starts in many places, but just knowing where you need to be for the first corner, especially on a tight corner like this. So hopefully they've taken in that information and we'll have a much nicer start this time.
So, while we're having this little bit of a break in between the two races, let's go over and we shall... Obviously, it will depend on how the rank fares between the start of August, so it's still 2 weeks away before the August one kicks off. But let's have a look and see who is likely going to be promoted out of the AMs, because normally we would do this by just judgment, but with the rank we'll get a good idea just now. So participants, oh good, doesn't actually tell me what everyone's rank is in any of the bits that I'm in. Here we go. So it is looking like at the moment Seth Royal, he's up at 8,000 rank, so pretty high, you would have said. Oh no, oh, this is going to be really difficult because the rank has changed since they signed up.
M. Ferrell did end up second to last at the end there, by the way, by 80-second gap.
Ooh. So, I'll probably not get them all right, but Dexter Morgan has been right at the front. It looks like they're going to be promoted. They're about 8,000 rank at the moment. Seth Roy has dipped a little bit, so, and how they go, they will probably stay in. Matt Krauser, about 8,000 as well, so it's good to see the improvement coming from there. Angel Sohn, they will likely be promoted as well. We also have Adam Ely. He won't be. I don't think he ever will be.
Shots fired.
That poor Adam.
He's currently dealing with baby, so he won't know.
Darren Eaton as well, who is just tipped over. He's steadily improved too through that. Also, I would think Sapolsky, being quite high up and being quick in qualifying, will have improved enough as well. And I'm trying to think of any others who aren't here tonight. I think there'll probably be a few others which are who are quite quick from the first few weeks. So like David Meller has only done 2 of the races, the second and third round, but their rank's already quite high. So that's another driver that will likely be promoted out. But we also have, being a SimHound sponsored series, SimHound have very kindly gave us a set of gloves to give away at every event. Not every event, that would be a lot of gloves. Every month. And it goes to just someone who we think has shown quite a lot of improvement, has kind of had a really good attitude in the races as well, not calling out other drivers, has generally been quite a clean and fair racer, getting involved in practice sessions and in the chat and everything. And I think this month we are going to award Darren Eaton with that. Darren, who started at the start of the year, I think, in the AM series, quite near the bottom, and has just steadily increased pace constantly. Unlucky in being involved in a few incidents, a lot of which they weren't his fault as well. But as you can see, qualifying 9th at the moment, and is currently 3rd in the standings as well for July. No, 4th in the standing. Why is there 5th in the standings? There's 2 second places because of tie points. So congratulations, Darren, and you can pester Johnny once he's back from his holidays about that. And get the new oNiD gloves, actually. The new oNiD merch, which has just dropped, the SimHound gloves. Very comfy, very grippy. Just exactly what you need on your hands to win races. There's the plug.
There it is. I am still waiting for mine.
20 seconds.
God, I dread to think how...
ones.
Yeah, I dread to think how long I've been waiting, actually.
They should have arrived now. Mine arrived the other day.
I think it's just because mine was a bit of a special order. Because there was the pre-orders, but I didn't have the money at the time. I think the pre-orders that we got, I got paid the day after they closed. So I basically just special ordered mine through Johnny.
Okay.
So I'll probably have to pester Johnny myself about it as well. So I think that's just kind of like secured my pair, so I just need to say to Johnny, gimme.
Yeah.
But soon enough I'll have gloves, because the calluses on my hand are just permanently there now.
Yeah, I never used to wear gloves when I had I had my G29, but when I changed my wheel and it's now it's got Alcantara on it, it's just so easy to make Alcantara look absolutely disgusting when you don't wear gloves. So
I also imagine when it kind of like wrenches your hand a little bit, just the friction of that might not be as nice. Not too familiar with Alcantara.
It's just a little F1 wheel, so you don't really get the like carpet burn, as you're saying, because if it's moving that much, then you're going to let go.
Good point.
But
yeah.
on a round wheel, I could imagine you'd get a little bit of carpet burn on a round wheel.
Yeah, well, I've used that G29 plenty doing lots of endurance racing, and I grip that thing quite tightly because I use a desk chair with wheels. So when I slam on the brake pedal, I kind of grip it quite tight and pull myself in. So about a year and a half of doing that, and I've just got 2 giant calluses on the ring and pinky of both of my hands, which hopefully will be alleviated with having my SimHound oNiD gloves.
I think it definitely will be, and I really like them. And Grassmeader is saying as well that he uses them to go-karting as well. So they're not just for sim racing. Although I would say if you are, the rental go-karts are all right to use them in. If you do end up getting your own go-kart, then I would invest in a pair of fireproof or fire-resistant ones, because you don't want to get burnt hands.
Well, I mean, hey, if you go down in a blaze of glory, at least your hands will be permanently affixed with oNiD SimHound gloves. Though I think they're just regular SimHound gloves. Also, Sam Page asking for standings. You are in the lead.
Yeah, we will get into that. We'll go through the race start, and I'm sure in the 45 minutes we'll get a bit of a break, and we'll go through the standings and update on where everyone is. But they are rounding the last corner, going in to start the 45-minute race. I'm not going to start the countdown to the green flag quite as early this time because it was quite late. But they are leading the way. Angel Son taking the lead again, and it is green.
Just the
It's
one
a good start
drive-through,
in the
and it's for
front.
Darren Eaton.
We have a 3 wide as Dexter Morgan sends it up into second place. As Seth Royal's been knocked off, and
That is a lot of yellow
someone else.
flags. Oh dear.
Is
It's quite a pile up there. I'm going to move to someone in the back. That would be get a quick replay. Let's just get a passenger cam of the chaos there. That's it's rather unfortunate. Just a bit of a roadblock. People going into other people, going into other people. I mean, hey, we saw this the Sunday before last with. Oh, hello. It does that sometimes. We saw this last Sunday, the Sunday before last, with a bunch of non-amateurs. It happens.
Yeah, I know. We actually red flagged the race a couple Sundays ago because of that. And it does happen. As it happens in real life, it happens in sim racing. As Dexter Morgan, is that him off in the background, or is that Leo Mason?
I think
that must have been Mason in the background. Running very similar liveries.
Spot the pink in the distance.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully all the drivers got away with not too much damage. With the pit stop means they can get back in the pits and repair it. But as we see Sam Page getting a little bit forced off track. I didn't catch the start of that, but ended up with them in the grass. As we've seen the black BMW try to go around the outside. That's Farrell. Oh, Sam's around again.
I just saw Sam Knight hit the wall back there as well.
Oh.
Bit of a messy start, but 43 minutes to make up for it as Darren Eaton goes and takes their drive through right away.
Yeah, plenty of time to get in the pit to get repaired and then get back out and get into kind of endurance mode. So just pumping in the lap times, and then you'll slowly do quicker lap times than the folk in front, and when they pit, you'll end up undercutting them. So all is not lost. But that McLaren does look a little bit bouncy over some of the curbs here, does it? I know that McLaren's meant to be really good over the curbs, and when I've driven it, it seems to be, but I know that there was slight BOP changes.
I did notice an update recently. I'm not sure what's a part of it.
It was so the McLaren had a bit of an exploit that was being used, where as we have seen a drive-through come through for car 1, and that was for missing a braking point and causing a large accident. So that was what happened at turn 1 with all that. All the cars that were everywhere. So unfortunately Sam Knight has picked up a drive-through from that and will need to serve it within 3 laps. But going back, as got a car just come out the pit lane in front of the leaders. Hopefully, I was going to say hopefully they get out of the way nicely, but they've definitely got out of the way nicely and they've went right onto the grass. That's Crook, so hopefully Crook gets back in and gets manages to filter back into the pack safely. I've totally lost where I was before all this kicked off. What was I on about?
The starting incident, maybe.
It was before that as well.
Oh. Yeah, I'm completely lost.
Yeah, it's gone.
Zone getting a little bit loose there, going side by side now into the chicane. I don't know what to call it.
I was going to call it that as well. Someone's still got the inside into turn 1, but it's too far back, and Dexter Morgan takes the lead. I was talking about the McLaren.
Yes, yeah, the exploit McLaren, because the people were doing the 213s at Spa. Oh, we've got a bit of an accident further back. Oh, get a quick replay on. Just caught the end of it, but it gets worse from here. So let's see what happens. Oh, just a bit of argy-bargy. A bit of, can I go here? Yeah. Oh no, I can't.
A lot of things going on at once.
Yes, it's very much a problem sometimes,
yeah, just not quite taking everything in at and reacting. I won't say correctly, just reacting well to it. But it's an amateur series. Obviously, people aren't going to make the correct decisions all the time, and that's why they're here. So
The only way
yeah,
to
the
learn
McLaren.
is to do.
The McLaren, what was happening was you could take all of the rear wing off and lower the back end of the car down to the minimum, and you would get maximum downforce. So it was that was the exploit that people were using. You were ending up being rapid down the straights, but also quick in the corners. So that has been changed, and I think it's not. I've just seen on my screen Leo Mason go flying off into gravel, so not a
just
great start for them.
I just saw the yellow flag on there.
So that has been fixed, and I think it will. It's not just Spa. I know it did get a little bit of a nerf on Spa with power as well, but the aerodynamic tweaks have been across all tracks, so won't quite be so overpowered anymore.
Because I remember when we used when we used the McLaren at Spa, we were running low wing. Well, I'm not sure we were abusing it, were we?
I guess we were in a bit, but we didn't know
Yeah.
because we didn't run zero wing and zero.
Well, if you remember
height as-
what was it? The Go setup we were using, it was min-maxed everything, but I adjusted it from that. Oh, we just see
Yeah,
Gettings go off there.
Oh, that's a heavy hit as well. That he's already done his pit stop, but I think he'll be doing another.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Flappy bonnet on that one. That's quite unfortunate. As I say, we've seen quite a few people go off there. Not the
Yeah,
best
does,
spot. Got another yellow flag. That's Wood going round. Clipped the grass on the outside going into the corner maybe. Just got it loose, but he's still going. Didn't hit anything, I don't think.
Yeah, tricky track, and especially with the three leaders coming through at the moment. The Dexter Morgan managing to nip through before the chicane. Angel Son having to back out as Wood then pulls over and lets the other two through, which is exactly what we want to see from a blue flag, as that is a missed braking point, but at least it was noticed early and he was able to avoid Son. So they will resume order again.
Oh dear.
Oh no, Conradi and
Farrell, I believe.
yes, have. Oh, Conradi's
dear.
lost the back end, tried to hold it, and has ended up catching the back of the Ferrell. It's nothing you can really do in that, is there? It's
Yeah, these things happen to the best of us sometimes. As we watch Conradi get a penalty, probably from an earlier collision, because that one didn't seem too bad and far too quick for that penalty to come through.
yes. So there has been a couple penalties come in since we've been speaking, which you'll notice the seconds. 5 seconds for car 81 for outbraking into the final corner and collecting another car. And then Conradi, that you just mentioned, ran into the back of car 5 as well a couple laps ago. So it's got a penalty. A warning to car 11 just for must they come into contact and be more aware of other drivers around. And then car 666 has made an excessive dive bomb, so not a regular dive bomb, an excessive one, and coming in contact with someone else. So a few penalties coming in.
Proper. Also, say hello to Luke Sherlock, saying evening all, and Aidan Howard saying, oh, hello, Donny. And I believe Aidan is our resident Donny guy.
Yeah, he's a resident Donny Marshall, so he's going to have sore arms after this race, waving the yellow flag so much. Get your flags out, Aidan.
You can lend us your expertise of probably knowing what the corner names are.
Yeah, definitely. So, we have Dexter Morgan currently leading the way, a second and a half ahead of Angel Son. and a further 2.5 seconds ahead of Zabolski in 3rd place. So, well, we talk about championship standings while we're having a little bit of a quiet moment.
Yeah, there's not much position-wise going on right now. Quite a few larger gaps. Some of the gaps shrinking, some of the gaps growing. I'll flick through what I see when I see them. But right now, we're pretty quiet.
We have Angel Stone currently leading the amateurs class as had a spin. A couple other cars were able to avoid, so getting back going again.
Not going the best for Leo, but the most important thing is to keep going.
Oh no, there's another one. The wall. Yeah, it's a tough one. Is that going to be an RTG? It's
still yellow flag at the moment. Just switched over to this fight at the moment, as I think Wood just lets Darren Eaton through there. Get very close into the braking point there, though. Not too sure about that move, but
it might not have been letting through. Darren might have just had a really good run through the chicane.
Mercedes definitely did look like he was going very slowly, but that could have just been a bad exit.
Yeah, it's really easy to get that chicane wrong and get a little bit of a bounce over it.
Got these two side by side, Farrell and Crook. Crook just edging ahead through the last corner, but Farrell keeping the inside line. Getting the old switcheroo going. Nope, not enough space. Oh, we've got a yellow flag up ahead. Looks like Torn got a little bit loose going into, well, one of the corners. I get lost on this track.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the corner of that name. I know it's the one
I know where we are now. I was a bit lost.
Yeah, an alternative route round the track, you could call it. But has managed to get back going, not lost too much time.
Top 3 are all very close now, though.
So, Angel Stone in 2nd, currently the championship leader for the amateurs class. They are followed by Matt Krause in 2nd, but Matt Krause is 33 points behind. So, and Dexter Morgan on the same points as Krause, so they're both joint 2nd. The gap between 1st and 2nd in terms of points is only 3 points. So, unless something catastrophic happens to Angel Stone, I think they have this championship wrapped up in the amateur class. The beginners class, which is the red numbers, a little bit closer. Sam Page is currently leading that with 180 points.
Just switch over to Sam Page, and there was a bit of an accident. Oh, there's Leo Mason going off there. Sam on the brakes, not much else you can do there. That's very unfortunate.
Does get a helping hand back round, pointing the right way, but such a tough part of the track to get round as Krause gets by them. Sam losing a few more places and is down to 20th. As I think one of that drivers had just left.
Yeah. I believe that was Leo Mason. I don't see their name anymore.
Yeah, it's no, we want to see drivers kind of quitting out.
There is a certain point where you get to being a hazard on the track if you're just really struggling to keep going.
Yeah, there is. We don't want to see folk leaving, but obviously that was a bit of a handful for Leo Mason, and hopefully see them back anyway. So Sam Page currently leading the beginners class standings, but really the only person that could bring the fight to him, it looks like, is Andreas Hansen, who is 21 points back, currently in 14th place.
7th in beginner, I believe, right now.
Yeah, so we calculated before. I think Hansen has to finish in the top 4 in the beginner class in order to even get enough points to pass Sam, because there is 11.
And of course, Sam would have to finish last of the finishers, but I believe because Leo Mason left. I think Sam will get enough points to keep the lead even in their current position. Possibly. Might want to double check that.
Yeah, so there's 12 at the minute in the beginners class. So scoring wise, Sam would get 39 points and Hansen would get, what are they, 7th? They would get 52 points. So Sam would still lead the championship, but there is still half an hour of this race to go. Anything can happen, and it is definitely still up for grabs.
We just got Ryan Davies popping in chat and saying, YouTube, why you crop session remaining time of screen? That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's definitely a you problem, Ryan, because I can see it.
Some of the things YouTube does, though, is very confusing.
Are you watching on your phone and have hit full screen?
And
because
like,
I know that
like
does it.
Double thumb, zoom in.
Yeah. Bless. If Matt Holman was here, he'd be saying some choice words about Ryan, but thankfully Holman's not.
It's on his TV.
It's on his TV.
Have you got overscan turned on? I can't believe TVs still use overscan. I remember,
I don't know what that is.
It's basically just zooming in ever so slightly.
Okay.
It's overscanning, and I mean it was originally for like CRTs and tube TVs where there's no pixels. But with LCD and LED TVs, you have 1080p, and you watch a 1080p video, you'd expect it to use all of the pixels, but it zooms in.
Okay.
It's always confused me. DMD UFOPs. I do not know what DMD means. Probably like, damn it, I don't know.
DM'd.
Oh, you DM'd me. Oh, right, yes. Capital letters are usually useful. You have indeed DM'd me. Yeah, I have seen the picture, and that definitely looks like you have overscan turned on your TV.
It's definitely a Ryan problem, this, because everyone else can see the time. But for Ryan, there is 28 minutes and 34, 33, 32, 31.
What?
Remaining.
28, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, I was watching the
live stream is about 30 seconds back.
We're on a delay. I'm just confusing them more. As Wood is a yellow flag, they've become a cropper at Old Hairpin, I think. There's fortunate, maybe see get a replay of it.
Well, what's this? I was looking at my phone.
It was Wood that had an issue, but it looks like they're back going again. So
just get a quick 30. Oh, okay. This was 30 seconds back.
That's an Old Hairpin issue.
Yep.
Going too wide, clipping the grass and spinning the inside like we've seen a lot of drivers doing. But does stay nice and wide and lets the other Mercedes through on the rejoin, which is actually something that we've seen pretty good this. I know we've had a lot of people off track. The rejoins that we've seen have all been really good, really considerate of other drivers on track, not just let's just dive back on the track and
yeah, not seen any horrific rejoins, which I often see too much in my normal races, so it's good to see the Yams know what they're doing.
Yeah, so look to your left on the screen currently. Angel Sohn is in the pits, now right. That's a lovely view of them as we spin around. So obviously had enough of following Dexter Morgan, has dived into the pits and is going to come back out into 9th.
Just into 10th now. Spolsky is behind them. You can see them down there on the track. They've got quite a nice gap on them there. Got S-Royal around. Oh dear.
That's another one to come a cropper at the Old Hairpin. So loses it on the inside curb. Runs a little bit wide.
Stayed away from the wall.
Yeah, would have probably held it if the track was a bit wider, but that outside grass is catching everyone out today.
Oh. Just a quick one on that one. Oh, just losing the back end around turn 1 there.
Yeah.
Spinning it around with class.
Yeah. Do you know? So this is going slightly off topic, but I know it's something that you're very interested in as well. And if Adam was on comms, he would definitely allow us to speak about it. But AMS2 had a big update
Oh, yes.
yesterday.
I'm sure if Adam was
which-
on comms, we would be chatting about that non-stop.
Oh yeah, it had a big update. A lot of it was content-wise was rally and rallycross content. Am I right in saying that?
Yep, as well as Formula Dirt,
but-
rally cars, and just little rally buggies. Just lots of dirt content.
Yeah, which I'm really excited to try actually. But there was also some physics changes. Oh, as Sam and Andreas Hansen, the two championship contenders have come together.
A lap apart as well. We'll get replay
Yeah,
on that one.
What's happened here? So Hansen diving to the outside, and there's a big gap. Oh, Hansen's run a little bit wide, spun, and ended up collecting Sam. That's
Poor Sam has
so
done nothing wrong
unfortunate.
this race and has been whacked off several times.
So unfortunate, but yeah, the British tracks, they are narrow. It's a lot different to Kota or Valencia, for example, where if you run wide, yeah, you might get a track limit warning, but you're probably not going to have a crash because a lot of the time it's tarmac anyway. The British tracks, if you run wide, you're touching grass and you're having a spin. But going back to AMS2, there's a big physics update for all the cars now. And one of the big things I noticed was that if you spin off and you're on grass, and then you basically do a wheel spin to get back going because grass is slippy and it's easy to wheel spin, that your tyres don't actually heat up as much as they do on tarmac. And that's something that I've noticed in this game. Even if it's wet and you go on the grass and you flick spin the car around on the grass, your tyres go red. What's that about?
Oh, I don't know. I've actually not played AMS2 with the new update just yet.
I did, but I think I chose all the wrong cars and I was just playing on the old physics. Because
I'm not
at the time it was
sure what actually has it, because I know the 1.5 has all the physics updates and we have the physics updates.
So every car now has the updated physics.
Yeah.
But before it was just the Formula cars that had.
It came very
excited.
suddenly, and it's like, boom, 1.5 is here.
Yeah, excited to see. Anyway, as our leaders now in the pits, Dexter Morgan.
Indeed he is.
So it'll be interesting to see where they come out as Angel Sohn.
They're currently in third place right now.
So Sohn is coming down to the last corner. You can just see in the background the shot. Dexter Morgan is still in the pits. Not moving yet. Still not moving.
Should be able to see it on the right side of the screen. Yep,
Now
just got
moving. So Sohn
Might
is
even
taking the
lose
lead.
to Zabolski as well.
So Spolsky's just crossing the line now. So we are. He has come out. No, he hasn't. He's come out just behind Sapolsky. So Morgan drops to effective third place. Did he have an issue? Did he have a longer pit stop?
I can
these are all the
triple-check
things that you can check.
Yes. So,
We'll just go
Sohn
to Sky Race
was
Control.
stopped for 32 seconds. Zabolski was stopped for 36, and Dexter Morgan was stopped for 45 seconds.
45 is a long pit stop.
Yeah, they must have picked up some damage somewhere. Dexter Morgan was a bit further down at the start. He might have got involved in that turn one
Yeah, he
incident.
made that good. Well, he made that good move up in the second.
He
turn
did,
one.
yeah.
So it shouldn't have picked up any damage from it, but have we maybe missed a... We wouldn't have missed a little incident because he's not that far back either.
Just gonna pop over to Fred Conradi
Oh,
because we got a request. Let's get a on board through the chicane, why don't we?
nicely kept within track limits, something that I wouldn't know how to do. As we come over the hill, braking at the second marker about here, and braking down, taking a nice tight line, just a little bit wide of the apex, but not too bad. Getting a little bit oversteer on the exit as we climb back up the hill, braking just at the end of this curve, turning into the last corner, getting a nice late apex, power on early, and again, maybe I think Conradi could do with the TC up just a little bit more.
Very could possibly be the changes to the car might be a bit more tail happy, because I remember the McLaren was quite tail happy. First time I drove it at Brands Hatch and had a whale of a time hitting every single wall.
Yeah. But yeah, coming down the Craner curves, a really fast section of track into probably the hardest corner on the track, the old hairpin.
Yeah, this is where we see a lot of the spins.
Through there, climbing back up the hill, braking about that board, brakes, and getting a nice turn in, power on early, can run wide on the AstroTurf, that's fine. And a really hard corner to judge this one, because you can't see the apex until you're at the top of the hill. But you can turn in before that.
We also have Farrell right behind Conradi right now. So we might just see a BMW fly into shot at some point.
So Conradi under a lot of pressure then from Farrell. Farrell has been quick, but he's been involved in a couple incidents so far. And Luke thinks about a move, but isn't quite close enough into the first of the hairpins.
Still getting a lot of that overspin on those tight short corners, not short corners, slow corners. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, so if Dred Varesta, you're in a chat with Conradi, maybe tell him to up the... Would it be TC1 or TC2?
I would flick TC1 up by 1 and TC2 up by like 2 maybe. Experiment.
Yeah, and that might help a little bit with getting some better lines out of the corners.
Yeah, especially if you're heavy-footed like me with buggered up knees and joints and whatnot. I'm just flat foot. That's all my ankle does is just down or up. Just going to quickly see what happened to James Wood here. Already quite a battered mark there.
Nicely coming up the hill to Coppice. Gonna bounce over the inside curb by any chance? No.
I just ran a little bit wide onto the grass and couldn't turn away.
That was an odd one, because it was like, yeah, understeered, ended up on the grass, but then
I think he just put his foot down. I think he just put his foot down on the oh, the words are slipping out of my mouth. I think he just put the pedal to the metal after getting on the grass, which is definitely not what you want to do. And then just shot him out straight.
Yeah.
So coming into the pits to get that repaired. Gonna send him down quite unfortunately. That looks like quite a hefty amount of damage. I will update on how long that stop was. Let's move over. We got I go to move over, or as I go to mark over, because he's moving down the order as he's coming out the pit, so I clicked on the wrong car.
Yeah, has completed his pit stop. That is the last driver to complete the pit stop as well. So everyone doing their mandatory pit stops. Some have done a lot more than others, but yeah. That's Farrell off again. So we did see them up behind Conradi. Looks like they did manage to get in front, but they've definitely lost that position again. At turn 1. Conradi off in the distance in the background. So have they been spooked by the car coming out the pit lane?
They've done the same thing again, yeah. We saw them do that same thing earlier. And then just heavy on the angry pedal on the grass. It's not the first time we've seen them a bit squirmy around the first corner there.
Probably a little bit frustrated at the first slide, and yeah, kept the foot down on the grass as Sam Knight has had an issue and is off. And
saw a car coming and just dived right out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's move up.
The Conradi has changed the TC now. so hopefully it gets on a little bit better.
TC is one of the saving graces of GT3 racing, as I've done quite a few series and endurances with cars that don't have it, and boy do I miss it.
Yeah, it's there's a bit of a, I know it isn't so much with ACC because a lot of people realise that it helps, but other racing games, looking more at the likes of Forza, Gran Turismo, F1 to a certain extent, there's a bit of a stigma over using traction control, and a lot of people, although they might struggle with it, it's almost like, oh, I need to use zero traction control because if I don't, then I'm a bad driver. But I know some games it does limit you a lot, as seeing Tyler flying the chicane up the back of Sam Page. Sam will pull over and let Tyler through.
Just an update on the time stops. Wood was stopped for about a minute and, was it 48 seconds? Sam Page with their previous accident was also stopped for a minute and 46. Quite hefty impacts on those two.
Yeah, big damage. Yeah, ACC, the traction control on it is really sophisticated, like it is in the real GT3 cars. And I don't think there's anyone apart from maybe the top esports people that could go as quick on zero TC as you can with a little bit of traction control.
No,
it helps so much in ACC and
like actual real TC is absolutely an assist and will make you go faster. It was in Formula 1 and you saw what happened there.
Yeah, 100%. It's this game is really good for this game with TC. You can still have the car slide a little bit, even with traction control on. You can still definitely spin the car with traction control on. But it just makes it much easier and much nicer to drive.
Yeah, it brings in the granularity of throttle movement that you just can't do with your foot. You can be smooth on the throttle coming out of a corner, but TC will do it better.
Yeah, 100%.
Jay Wood off again. Looks like old hairpin once again, but seems to have kept out of the wall this time.
Yeah, the car looking a bit fresher than it did last time we saw it.
Update on the lead as well. Sohn has now pulled up an extra couple seconds on Zabolski. He's now 12 seconds in the lead. Dexter Morgan looks like he might be chasing down Zabolski. He's currently set the fastest lap as of his last lap. Currently 2.5 seconds gap now. So it seems these three have got the podium all by themselves, but I think Dexter and Zabolski might fight for that podium, that second spot I should say. Gap down now to 1.8 seconds.
Well, the fight is on.
With 12 minutes to go. It sure is. Got a bit of a fight going on down here with Farrell and Conradi again. Farrell with his mistake earlier on, losing position to Conradi. He's catching back up.
Yeah, I've been watching Conradi looking a lot better out the hairpin corners with the TC up a little bit. This is something that he could work on. If you get a little bit smoother throttle out of the hairpins, then he can drop it a little bit more again. But will definitely be helping the exits at the moment.
Yeah, it's something.
So it's something more to look at in the future.
It's something you can bring up in the next Wednesday, and what's the official name for it? Just coaching session?
It's just the amateurs coaching session, really. There isn't an official name.
Yeah.
Daniel Lindblom's School of Magic, normally.
Yeah. Something you can possibly bring up next time is just the basics of setups. Darren Eaton looks to go off at the old hairpin as well.
I know Johnny Seville last night, he did a lot with setups. So that was really good to have him in.
Farrell
As
and
a
Conradi switch places. Oh, Farrell seems to be getting very loose at a lot of these corners. Car's very aggressively set up. So I've got Crook off. Has he run out of fuel? No? Okay.
I think he's just slowing down to let the quicker cars through. As
Old hairpin
Josh
claims
is...
another.
Oh, and you know all about that Ferrari getting going again, don't you? How difficult it is.
Yeah, when the Ferrari's stationary and you go on the throttle, it will kick straight up into top revs and will spin you right around. It does not care. Fenton and Torm pretty close together now as well. Oh, I'm losing my train of thought. There's so much going on now. Where was I? Yes, the setups. Yeah, so
Yeah.
ooh, got very close there with Ferrell. There's so much going on. But yes, some of the basics with setups, like learning the nitty and gritty of it, is something that takes a lot of time, and even something that I don't know. But some of the basics with like anti-roll bars, wing, ride height, most importantly traction control for making the car stable and comfortable for you. Doesn't have to be the fastest, it just needs to be comfortable and stable. And then that's when you can start going faster.
Yeah, you don't win races by setting the fastest lap, you win them by continually doing fast laps. Doesn't have to be the fastest lap, just has to be better on average. So if you have a car which is, you can get your fastest lap by half a second in, but then your next lap's a second off because you've had it sideways everywhere, you're not going to win races with that. So you've got to set the car up that suits you and that is going to suit you over the whole course of the race.
And of course,
yeah, Fenton,
nice and stable when you're pushing. Not just a stable car, because a stable car will probably be slow, but when you're pushing, it's not trying to kill you.
Oh, definitely.
Because you need to find the right balance between stability and not bogging you down. Because of course you can just crank the TC up to max and you probably won't spin, but you're not going to get out of corners very well.
No. A little bit of an awkward one on screen at the moment. We've got Remco, Torn and Farrell. Remco obviously up in 9th place, Farrell down in 16th, but they seem to be around about the same pace. But it looks like it's given Remco a little bit of a headache as he dives to the inside. It is contact, and that is going to let Fenton through. So, yeah, the stewards will be picking up on that one. It was probably a frustrated move, thinking getting held up by the blue flag car. The blue flag car doesn't have to dive out the way, but should let the faster car through, but kind of awkward in that they were both about the same pace. So there wasn't a clear pace difference to let anyone through. But
it's not always obvious what is the best thing to do in any moment.
No, exactly, and unfortunately Remco getting a bit caught out and has lost 2 positions because of that. Josh Wicks has got through 2.
Dexter Morgan still setting super fast laps. Well, it says his last lap at 1:28.1 was purple, but it definitely wasn't. But still picking up the pace to Spolsky. They've been about a second apart for a few laps now. 6 minutes to go now, so halfway from the last time I mentioned it.
Is that just for Ryan that they mention it?
Ah, no, I DMD'd Ryan back and told him to go into the menu and change the thing. As per my little rant a little bit earlier. We've got a drive-through for track limits and a 5-second penalty for Ryan Torn there. Was it Remco Torn?
Yeah, so Remco getting the 5 seconds for that move at the hairpin that we just saw on the
Ferrell.
BMW
of
Ferrell. And then Sam Knight picking up his second drive through the race, at this time for track limits. Something I'm all too familiar with. But
yes.
Remco now being put under pressure by the recovering Seth Royal. My pick for the win, not doing fantastic, unfortunately.
I picked Sohn. I just didn't expect there to be 13-second gap in the lead at this point, but he kept his head down had a bit of luck with the pit stops, as he didn't have to stop for so long, but took that advantage and just left. Oh, his Remco just
Exit stage right.
Yep. Hey, that's stage left actually. It's flipped from the camera angle.
Nah, as you come round the corner, it was off to the right.
Yeah, it's off to the right, but when you're standing on the stage facing the camera or the audience, stage left is to your left, which is to the audience's right. I did drama for GCSE.
Oh.
I dropped out after less than a year because I found out there was way too much written work to do, but hey, I did it.
It wasn't all just jumping about on stage.
I got a free trip to London out of it.
Oh, nice. I didn't do drama past when I had to do it, basically.
Oh, Zabolski goes wide and Morgan gets through. That's... it's not the best Zabolski there. With Morgan and his pace right now, I don't think Zabolski's going to get back up. But the gap has been fluctuating a lot, so still all to play for right now. Because we saw it down to about half a second, and then half a lap later it was down to about a second and a half, so they seem to be setting pretty similar laps at the moment. Apart from this one, of course.
Yeah, definitely there was a... We'll see if Zabolski can get back and challenge again, as we see Darren Eaton getting right at the back of Gettings.
Look who's popped in right at the end.
Who has popped in right at the end?
It's Johnny Seville.
Johnny Seville. Hello, Johnny. Did you do any coaching last night at the Old Hairpin? It's been a lot of drivers being caught out by it, but...
Oh, you caught me out with
it. But yeah, really appreciate your efforts yesterday as well in helping out these amateurs, and I know they'll be very appreciative of it as well. And good to get some setup advice too, as Darren Eaton takes the inside on Gettings, makes the move, and will get that stuck.
Getting a little bit loose at the Old Hairpin, but manages to survive after claiming so many victims tonight.
Yeah, it's been a lot of people met Mr. Barry R on the inside. Let's see if Darren Eaton can run away now.
Gap between Zabolski and Morgan now 2.3 seconds. Looks like Morgan's putting his pace down. What's been happening at the Old Hairpin? They've either been hitting the inside and spinning, or running wide, hitting the grass and spinning, or just spinning. It's been all three.
A lot of it's been the classic Old Hairpin crash, where you run a little bit too wide, dip the wheels on the grass, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in the wall on the inside. Just as you go pushing a bit harder, as we see Crook parked at the corner 6, corner 7, and is finally getting going again.
It's not been a great race for them. We've seen quite a few yellow flags. Still going. 2 minutes left. 2 laps to go. So good on them for keep going.
So with that, it does. So jumping back to championship-wise, at the moment, Angel Sohn winning the race, already leading the championship, is pretty much guaranteed to take that win now. In the beginners class, we have Hansen isn't high enough up, and looks like Sam Page will take this championship as well, which is amazing given how Sam's progressed. I know he was selected for the gloves last month, because he's shown a lot of progression now, and it'll only go higher up. But yeah, to come out winning the championship, he'll be well chuffed with that, even if this race hasn't went quite the way he wanted it to.
Johnny Seville mentioning saw a few sending it in a little too hard yesterday into there. Maybe we should have drilled it a bit more. It is a tricky corner. There's a lot of tricky corners on this track. They're very deceptive is what they are. Because you think you're fine, and then you wash out and you're not fine.
the very first amateurs race, although it was rookies back then, I did at oNiD was at Donington, and race 1 went really well until I ran out of fuel.
Oh dear.
Or no, it was only one race. Sorry. So I ended up having a half spin at the old hairpin, similar to what a lot of these drivers have had. Managed to keep out of the wall and get going, and then ran out as I crossed the line to go on the last lap, and that was me out of the class win after that.
Farrell just lost the back end again, going round that corner after Popis, I believe it is. Lots of late apexes, yes, plenty of late apexes. Oh.
And Angel Sona has won the overall and has taken the win tonight. So that is going to bump them up to, let's see, how many wins have they had this season? It is going to be their 3rd win of the 4 race. Well, it's technically counting all 8 races with that. But yeah, Angel Sona taking the win. Dexter Morgan in 3rd with the fastest lap of a 27.6. And Cebulski in 3rd, who is the winner of the beginner class as well. Head with a little bit of a snap out the last corner, comes across
very
the line.
close there. If that went a little bit more, Russell would have taken that from him there. That was very close. Managed to keep it going though.
Definitely. And Russell with a podium in class as well. Krauser 2nd place, 3rd place in the standings actually. Dexter Morgan will take that 2nd place off of him.
Fence him comfortably in 9th. I'm just going to switch over to Wix and Royal now, side by side, coming into this hairpin now.
Seth taking the outside line. Wix defending the inside. Is going to try and get the switch back, but isn't quite enough alongside. Is it going to be a last corner, last lap dive from Seth? No, although they've both run a little bit wide. It's going to be a drag race. It's
almost a run for the line there, but it's just enough.
And Wix takes the last place in the top 10.
Last to come across the line, I believe. Yep, Sam Page. Last to come across the line and is 1st in class. In the standings, not for the race, of course.
Yeah, so there we have it. That's been the final of the July SimHound Amateur Series. Johnny's saying well done all as well. Definitely well done all. Everyone has done great this season, been massive improvements as well. And we wish those who are going to be progressing out of the amateurs and hopefully into some of the rest of our championships as well. Kind of Sunday night, Monday night.
Just bringing up the highlights as background footage, but fortunately we're just going to see the carnage that happened.
Yeah, there was a little bit at the start, so unfortunately, although what I did like to see is that a lot of drivers did slow down. I didn't really see anyone still going flat out into turn 1 with all the cars out, so good to have that awareness, and it definitely helps your ability to get through. And even if you don't get through, at least you're going to get a little bit less damage than if you go flat out to a crash. It's something we see far too often, is it?
Unfortunately so, yes. It was good to see, but it's still unfortunate just because there was a bit of a roadblock, everyone coming together. The accordion effect, I think it is.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for the... So we've got a special event next month. Not next month, sorry. Next week, because obviously there is... No, we don't. It's at the end of August, is it? What an idiot. I'm getting mixed up. It's at the end of August. We've just planned it already. Parkin being too eager on the planning got me mixed up. But yeah, so the next month will start off next Thursday. It'll be the August series. Race 1 is going to be at Misano. I'm looking at it, and as we say, we're going to be bringing in the SGP rank. So if you are under 6,500 SGP rank, then you can sign up. If you're over that, then unfortunately you won't be able to, but you'll be able to sign up to all the rest of our races as well.
just noticed as well, there was no post put out for the stream tonight.
That's probably because one of us should have done it. Because Johnny's on holiday and Adam's dealing with a screaming baby.
Yes,
but
well, I have not done it before, but I guess I now have the role to be able to do it, actually.
Yeah, it's a mistake on our part, so...
Whoopsie daisy.
I'll put one up after.
Well, it was good turnout either way. I think people knew to expected to come here already. We already had 4 people waiting before the stream started, I think.
Yeah.
The transition is working. Remember at first it was not so working.
It'll always take a little bit of time for folk to switch over when you go from another streaming service, so from Twitch over to YouTube. But if you haven't already, then please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications as well if you don't want to miss racing. We've got racing nearly every day streamed. There is AC on Mondays, ACC on Tuesdays, as well as no, just ACC on Tuesdays. Nothing on Wednesdays streamed anyway, but we do have AC racing. We've got the amateurs on Thursday, and on Sunday we've got our main championships as well on ACC. But definitely hit the like button as well if you enjoyed it. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that because I like myself.
You like yourself, of course.
I do like myself.
Did we possibly hit 400 subscribers? Because before the stream we were at 399. So if you haven't subscribed and we're still at 399, go ahead and subscribe to be the 400th. And if it is already past 400 and you're not subscribed, still subscribe.
I think we are still on 399 from what I can see. So, oh no, we are at 400.
Let's go.
So thank you to our 400th subscriber, whoever that was, because I can't see it. Maybe you can if you're logged in as admin on YouTube.
I don't have the webpage open for resources reasons.
Let me see if I can find it. Give me a moment. We will find it out when I figure out how to do it. Here we go. Where does it show up in the chat? No. We are good subscribers, good YouTubers.
I mean, I can look myself. Also in the chat, no comment mentioning that there wasn't that many incidents, actually. Only 20 registered bits of contact. It was pretty clean from what I saw. Just a few little accident bonks, but most of what we saw was... Oh, my throat. Most of what we saw was people just losing it at the old hairpin, really.
So, our...
It is... No, okay.
Doesn't show in the notifications, actually, which is odd.
Yeah, because you can have private subscriptions, so it doesn't show up in the case, because it's on the site itself. It says our last public subscriber was 2 days ago.
But if anyone wants to claim it, we won't know otherwise, so feel free to claim the 400th subscriber.
You can say it and we might believe you, but if you have public subscriptions, I can literally look and see when you subscribed.
But thank you very much, whoever it was that has subscribed. Hit 400, and hopefully we'll build up further than that too, with lots more racing to come.
Gonna end it here. Thank you all very much for joining us for the SimHound Amateurs finale at Donington. It's a whale of a time that we had. Back to your regularly scheduled programming in 2 weeks with Johnny and Adam, I would think, yes?
Hopefully it will be. Yeah, it's been good though to jump in their absence, and it's good fun to watch these races. They're always good racing. So thank you very much for coming and watching and driving. And I'll see you next time, and I'll let you close out drinking.
It's Skunk Guy saying it was him. Well, thank you very much for being the 400th subscriber. I believe you.
Thank you so much for claiming that it was you.
Well, I will catch you all Sunday for round 3 of the Sunday League. I'll be joined with David Russell unless he is not available. And if for the Thursday AM series one of them's absent, you'll probably see me again. So I shall catch you all later. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone.